Diablo 4, bad. Path of Exile Necropolis, turns out it's also bad. At least Last Epoch is standing strong and tall.
Is the new Path of Exile Necropolis League bad? That is what people have been telling me because I've been streaming for the last 70-something hours now, non-stop for the new Path of Exile League. Some people have quit the league literally already, and some people aren't enjoying the league, so let's talk about it. First of all, this is what the league mechanic is. When you open up and do either a new map or you're going through the campaign, effectively there is this thing that pops up, and
this is obviously pissing people off. But I have to say, I'm not mapping. I play slowly. You know what I'm currently trying to do, which is most likely gonna not work out because, yeah, I have not thought out anything through. I'm playing Poison Assassin, crit-based, Flicker Strike, the auspicious one, or whatever it's called, the one that gives you a charge when you crit. Yeah, that's gonna probably not be great, but I'm gonna have fun at least trying. And I understand how this is probably gonna be really bad at the end game because a lot of stuff here is extremely rippy.
either gives you good bonuses or bad bonuses, and you have this little mini game of like, let me put the good bonuses on the plus multiplier, let me put the bad bonuses away from them or on the negative multiplier, etc. Basically, it's this mechanic of it gives you additional modifiers, sort of like Zizran's Gauntlet. It gives you bonus modifiers, very often could be additional damage, but this starts even in the campaign. So from the beginning, you are interacting with this mechanic. For instance, this is Act 1. When you go to the next area here, you click it, you get this little increase.
It's really annoying, by the way, to click that thing. I always misclick the zone because you're so used to it, right? So you click the zone, and yeah, then you can't apply the mods. But thankfully, while you're running the campaign, this doesn't really matter all that much. It's maybe slightly annoying, maybe a slight hindrance, but it's not that much of a problem. Also, change my camera.
Increased damage here, or bonus physical damages, extra damage, etc. So it's all the way back, starting from Act 1. Now, the first thing I'm going to say I noticed is, as a newer player myself, I already struggle going through the campaign. Of course, I'm playing hardcore, and that is a self-imposed.
Oh, this is something, by the way. I did not play the last league, but I also didn't play the last league before that. I played the one with the Wisps a little bit, but, I mean, I literally didn't even finish Act 1, I think, in that one. And it kind of just bored me out, honestly. So, that was a thing, yes. And you know what I did this league? Again, I'm playing as assassin, and I took Cobra Strike, Cobra Lash, Cobra something. You know, the one that you throw. I forgot its name because I literally never have even wanted to use that thing. And I decided, hey, I'm gonna level with this skill gem until I can start using Flicker Strike properly, right? And I'm like, holy! I remember the last time I used this thing, it was absolutely terrible. And now I'm clearing so fast, it's so easy. Why is Brutus dying this quick? Why are all the bosses... Is this skill just like Omega buffed or something? No, seriously, considering I have not used Cobra Strike, Cobra Lash, or Cobra Throwy thing since this skill game got introduced, I was so amazed how easy it is to actually clear the acts. It's like... It feels so easy compared to the last thing I did, which I don't remember what it was, but it was a meme, so obviously it was harder, but still. Wow. Did they make the game in general easier? Or the early game generally easier? Because it kind of feels like that.
Challenge. Not everyone necessarily does that, but I definitely notice the additional modifiers going through the campaign. I've died twice so far. I think both of those were skill issues, but I do in fact notice the additional damage, and that is one of the complaints we have already seen. Now, that's only about half of the mechanic. The other portion of the mechanic is basically you collect these corpses when you're going through the maps, and you can use these corpses to give you additional modifiers in order to be able to craft gear. So you can have like plus minimum of link sockets, bonus lightning modifiers, yada, yada, yada. Anything you would really expect for an affix, suffix, what have you. So you can...
The early game, this kind of sucks because all I'm getting currently is a 5 to 30 quantity. and like a 200% chance that you could get a cold mod on whatever you make. Okay, Chief. Okay.
Craft gear. Now, this is both a cool mechanic and kind of a weird mechanic. I think that it's very min-maxy, in which you have to get...
Yeah, here it is. 500% chance to get a cold modifier. What a mod, boys. What a mod.
Effectively all of the right modifiers and store them up, and the...
But I actually like this a lot. Currently. Again, I'm not at end game. Because I play really slow. It is what it is. You know? I currently like this because this is the best leveling crafting that I have seen so far. You literally get on demand a good item, and it's pretty easy to do, and you don't need to care about too much about these modifiers. It's just the fact that you can always get the type of yellow item that you want, which is amazing.
The Necropolis grave itself is limited. You see the 64 corpses, so there's a little bit of annoyance in collecting the corpses because you need the right ones in order to build a particular item. Plus, the corpses drop when something dies. So if you're playing a character that maybe runs past...
Also, considering I'm one of those people who is never even gonna attempt the end game crafting system, because, yeah, again, I don't want to spend 5 years reading Wikipedia articles about how to craft things because something is better than another thing, okay? So, this is by far the best crafting system they have ever had in Path of Exile, if we exclude essences. Kinda-ish, you know, if we exclude essences. You know, this is the best crafting system we have had in for forever, pretty much. Well, actually, I love the Mirror of Kalandra. Again, I'm one of those rare people who love the Lake of Kalandra. Yeah, the Kalandra's League was amazing, in my opinion. The modifiers you could get on those items, so cool. Actually, so innovative and spicy, was crazy. But yeah. That was not real crafting, though, at the same time. It was just, here's a chance to get a cool item. But this is by far the best crafting that we have ever gotten in the game. This is the most streamlined, the most easy to understand, the most beginner-friendly thing ever. So, yeah, I understand why people who have spent literal days of their life reading Wikipedia articles about crafting are upset with this, but no one else except them is upset with this.
Stuff, and you're like dropping totems behind, like my first character was. Then what ends up actually happening is you know this on the map, and you'll have to backtrack in order to collect the corpse. So that's another complaint I've recognized myself. Now, all of these aside, I still don't really think it would be that big of...
Bro, I play Flicker Strike. I am so used to the situation where I start Flicker Striking, I magically make it to 50% way into the map, and yeah, I'm not backtracking for whatever just dropped there, okay? It's gone into the void. It is what it is, okay? We Flicker Strike players are built different.
Of an issue, and honestly I'm not really upset by this, but there's only one thing that really does kind of bother me about the new league for myself personally, and that's the fact there's no opt-out. For instance, one of my favorite parts about the game when I was sort of new to the game, getting into it, was that I could choose to interact with the league mechanics I wanted to. In fact, even last league, I could choose whether or not to juice my maps with the Wildwood Ascendancy.
Oh!
This league, it is...
Oh, that was last league, so I played 5 minutes last league. Nice.
Guaranteed that these maps will have the modifiers, and there is actually no way to disable this. Unfortunately. So normally in other leagues you can kind of just ignore the stuff that you don't like and play with what you do, but this one you are forced to interact with, at least from a map modifier perspective. For me personally, if I could remove the forced ability of having to interact with these map modifiers...
Oh right, a totem. Yeah, I was playing totems. I forgot which kind. Oh yeah, Lancer totems.
I would have no problems.
That was the idea, though. At least then the idea turned to shit. So you know it is what it is. Then it turned into Divine Eye of Totems, which is by the way seriously OP. But you know still
at all with the league. That is my one particular problem. It is a dangerous league, very defensive oriented league, and for somebody who's fairly new, it's an additional level of challenge. Even if I was playing like softcore trade league, not doing the hardcore solo self thing, I would still find that somewhat annoying, as I'm already trying to learn the base game. Maybe it's different for veteran players and they have no difficulty at all. I can understand, but I'm just mentioning from my perspective. As I mentioned this, a counterpoint I'm seeing in the chat is, well, you could play non-seasonal if you don't like it, though. And that would be a fair point. You could actually play non-seasonal to dodge this. However, I do believe part of what people really like about ARPGs is the hype of playing in the season, maybe with people they know, etc. So not everyone is always at the same level in the league, nor do they have to be. But as a counter to that point, not very many people typically want to like join a game and then play on the start of a league in the non-league. That's normally not how like hype goes around these types of things. Another good counterpoint to this that the chat is actually bringing up is that new leagues are
Oi, I have that cup. It's a really good cup.
fresh
And I'm just saying that because I have it. It's a good cup.
economies too. So very typically, if you want to interact with the fresh economy, you will have to play the new league. Now, in terms of the crafting in what I found beneficial is there's really two ways I see this working, and I could be wrong, but the way I see this working is either one way where you just put one thing in, you just say, okay, I would like to try to get an item at the very beginning of the game, like you're just getting going, you just need yellow items, like you just need an amulet or something. You're just like, okay, I just need an amulet. You put one craft in, you go to jewelry, you roll the amulet, you try to get one thing, and you just spam a few times to try to get something. I mean, look at that. 32 intelligence, maybe I needed that, max life, whatever. This could be good, like right at the beginning, okay? Or there's where you go in and you craft literally all of them. You farm all 64 as the perfect corpse that you need for the perfect item. Like I'm trying to save up all the qualities and the max link sockets and the physical modifiers and all the things that I would want to see, the attack modifier rating, etc., for a two-handed axe. And then you eventually perfectly craft one like giga item at the end. I don't really see like a mid-max of this where it's like, okay, you get like 5 or 6 good corpses. Like I've done that a bunch, and it's...
I wonder how this is going to end up, because this is going to be absolutely insane mid-maxing. The elitist PoE crowd, when finally someone figures out and makes a Wikipedia article how you actually use this to create the most insane items ever, then they're going to be happy. Again, you can't satisfy the hardcore PoE fans without writing a Wikipedia article. It's just not happening.
Seems like mostly dog shit items. So it seems like it's either you're just RNGing one over and over again in the beginning to try to get something, or you are going all the way for a big dick item once you have all of the corpses, etc. together. However, there is one thing that I really, really like about this league. Occasionally, one of the modifiers you're going to get on your map is called a Nameless Seer. And after you fully clear that map of that particular type of mobs that has that attribute associated with it, you will...
Isn't that complete garbage bunk? I watched the clip of Quinn doing that, and he just spent 20 minutes looking for the last mob. And then he found out that, wait a minute, he already killed all of those last mobs, and now he has lost the chest. It's not a great mechanic, okay? It's really not a great mechanic. But to be honest, everything that people are mad about PoE has always kind of boggled my mind. Because Grinding Gear Games listens to player feedback, and when a league is bad, for whatever fucking reason, people are always pretty much gonna just say the same thing. Like for Diablo 4, they said the same thing about why game bad. And you can just change it. So, for example, the Seer thing, that can be changed where you see the monsters on the mini-map. Because Path of Exile has a mini-map unlike Diablo 4. You know, maybe you make it so you can see all those monsters on the minimap constantly so you don't get lost or whatever, and you don't have to wait 20 minutes to find where the monsters are because there's some in some stupid crack or whatever. There are PoE can fix their leagues so ridiculously simple. So simple.
We'll get a inventory to choose from of unique items. So you can actually get a really good item. For instance, I got a tabula rasa, like a guaranteed 6-link white socket in Act 2, which was...
Well, considering I'm not actually checking any mods on any enemies ever at all, yeah, I'm gonna miss that probably.
Crazy. I then died in Act 5 and lost it, but the point remains that was probably the biggest excitement I've had in terms of like a drop or an item acquisition ever in this game. Now, I haven't watched any of my fellow content creators' videos. I heard there's a bunch of videos talking about this. I haven't seen any of the Reddit forums.
I have seen a lot of recommendations in my YouTube recommendation page where, oh man, people are not happy with Necropolis. Tier 17 maps suck, blah blah blah. I can't constantly find them, blah 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 blah.
Or anything like that, and I heard they're on fire, so let's go take a look. So we're just going to start from the top and scroll down through here. Here's one saying that they should change the UI. This is just a drop-related one. The Omni Ashes change is heartbreaking. Let's see what this one has to say. So he says here, there's a lot of shit that's great about this league. Tier 17's quality of life changes. That's a good point, actually. The quality of life changes are pretty good, though I don't mind the automated cry, though I'll say the points about Melee having issues with socket pressure I've noticed. The SSF is the boss loot table changes, which were all undocumented. They moved Ashes and Omni to Ubers. Ah, I see. So that would be harder to farm. So there's a couple small complaints here. Looks like this one's sort of a meme on Necropolis and Arch Nemesis. Let's keep scrolling. Necropolis has by far the worst retention of any league shown on the PoE database. That is interesting. So,
wow, really? Affliction? Okay. Ancestor, Crucible, Sanctum, Calandra. Ooh. Man, people really did not like Calandra. I fucking loved Calandra. Sentinel. Bro, how do you people like Sentinel more than Calandra? What's wrong with you? Arch Nemesis. I mean, this is, by the way, how... Again, this is also... for example, Necropolis. Necropolis currently is gonna be less liked because literally everyone who is a gamer is prepping for Phase 3 and Season of Discovery. That's just reality, by the way. Everyone who is a gamer is prepping for Phase 3. I have already spent all my gold. I just need to, you know, spend a day looking for mage books because I'm gonna go Zul'Farrak farming. And the moment Phase 3 drops, bro, I'm not playing fucking PoE, okay? The Necropolis, amazing or shit, can go fuck itself. It's that simple, okay?
has the worst retention of any league. I wonder if that is one.
Also, was Crucible really that bad or something happened? Again, Path of Exile is affected by externalities.
100% accurate or not, because that... I would not have guessed. This is a pretty fair point. Another league where you need Excel spreadsheet, 3 external websites, and 50 leagues worth of knowledge to craft. That's true. So as a newer player, it's not exactly precisely clear on the math behind using like the Necropolis corpses to craft. It is a kind of confusing.
True.
I'm just kind of thinking bigger number is gooder. Is pretty much how my brain's going with it. So this is a pretty fair.
I mean, it seems that is how it kind of works currently, yes.
Point. People in this thread here are linking to the audience retention number, saying it's literally the worst, not even the worst. Putting most insane mods where we have ever seen on rares without any loot rewards. What could go wrong? So there's quite a bit of points here that are hard for me to argue against. This.
Okay. You know how you fix you fix the complaint of putting insanely hard mods on mobs without increasing loot drops? Just say that it's hidden. Grinding Gear Names just needs to go out and say that the modifiers are actually hidden, and then but they exist, and people would be like, yay, it's suddenly fine, even though that would be a lie probably. Okay, it is what it is.
This right here is like I said earlier. I don't hate this league, but forcing me to play maps with 6 to 8 mods and then adds 200% extra damage, 100% HP, etc. is beyond insane.
Yeah.
I think that is the one that I agree with the most, which is just let me opt out of the league bonus mechanic. Don't give me corpses. If I opt out of it, don't give me the bonuses either. But I definitely feel like it is much more dangerous, which makes me feel more scared playing hardcore, if that makes sense, which I guess is the point of hardcore. But sometimes I'll
the danger part, by the way, is actually super real, because the reality of PoE that I don't see people talk about is, if you're a new player, you don't exactly understand how PoE functions in the defensive aspect. You're thinking, wait, what's the difference between having plus 200 armor from X amount of armor? Well, turns out the difference is absolutely ginormous, you know? Crafting everything extra on your items that even give like plus 5 armor somehow magically means you being able to do 2 additional tiers of maps. I don't know how that works, but that's just how PoE works in general. It is what it is.
Open a map and look at the modifiers, and it would say like bonus damage and penetrates resistances, and I would just be like, well, that's a ruined map. I'm just going to roll a completely different map. Okay, so I was sitting here scrolling through the Reddit for a while, just kind of looking at more. I was thinking, like, let's pull up a few more. But to be honest, as I look through most of these, it's a lot of criticisms of the same things and points we've already mentioned. So I'm not going to bother just going through like 50 different Reddit posts that all kind of repeat the same thing. So from my perspective, as somebody that's still learning the game, this league crafting, I don't actually have any problems with. I'm seeing a lot of complaints related to the crafting. Maybe it's just because I have so much stuff still to learn that just one more thing that seems very confusing to me doesn't really affect me any. And the only real major feedback I have is that I do wish that when I'm opening a map or I was going through the campaign, etc., I could literally choose to not interact with this mechanic. Because what I want right here is like a toggle. It's like, do you want the league mechanic? No. And then I can turn it off. Otherwise, I'm guaranteed to have this. And if this right here and this one right here was like damn bonus damage and penetrates resistances or something, then I would literally just delete the map and do it over again, which in the beginning can be a little bit frustrating. Other than that, I haven't had too many problems. But the data shows that people kind of don't like this one, it seems like. And I've seen the feedback somewhat similar in my chat. That's kind of my take on it so far. It's mid to me. I'm not really upset by it, but I definitely wish that I could turn this portion off so that I could actually just play the game without having to deal with these modifiers. So if you're asking me on is it a thumb up or thumb down, it's kind of thumb mid. Kind of thumb mid. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, the start is good. I don't know about the end game. But, you know, the start's good. Like hell I'm gonna get to the end game with my Flicker Strike critical poison like hell that's happening. Anyway, this was Quizzer Censored, and that was our voice, DM. Yay, Skittles. Anyway, thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.